Hey guys, it's RodimusPrimal. I am back with another video, and today I have for you the Deluxe Class Transformers Legacy Prime Universe Knockout. And I've already taken him out of the packaging, so I initially wanted to try and do a whole full-on review of all of the figures for Wave 2 for the Deluxes, since I had gotten them in a single shipment, so it was kind of like something I had pre-ordered for months. And so I figured, you know what, I might as well actually take the time to review each one individually. It also kind of gives you guys a better look at each of the figures. Taking a look at the packaging, of course, the windowed packaging is not something that I'm a big fan of, but the artwork itself is pretty nice with the car there on the front, along with the artwork on the side. It is still the standard Legacy artwork there on this side, and of course his typical stock photos that they've used. All of the Deluxe Class figures use this QR code thing that brings you to a website that gives you the text back. Back in the day, that's how we, in G1, would read all of the text spec information right on the packaging. So now they've given us a QR code to go to a website so you can see his actual bio. Well, I'm going to get deep diving into this figure. So without further ado, sit back, relax, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and let's transform and roll out. Now, getting a good look at Knockout's figure here, you can easily see that he is a retool of Jazz, and it uses a lot of the same tooling. So on the legs and on the arms, it's very much the same. However, the car mode itself is where they pretty much reshelled it, and they also gave us a brand new front end. And if you look at the head sculpt, I really like this head sculpt. Overall, I know some people have been very picky for being Transformers Prime fans about the look of the character, but I think it really works in the aesthetic of Transformers Legacy and giving us characters that fit with our other Transformers, the Generation 1 characters, the Beast Wars characters, and all the different universes. It helps them pretty much stand next to each other and work within the same universe that way, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I know some people would probably like Knockout without a nose, but I also decided here to use the doors sticking out. You can do so. One thing you want to take note of when you do this is you want to take the back of the car and then, fold the doors either in or out, and then fold it back in, and then you can fold it like the instructions, ask of you to do, so that you have the back to look like Jazz, because that's the way that it does it. But I think it looks better when the actual door panels are sticking down out this way for Knockout in particular. For Jazz and for Jackpot, I decided to make it where they're in like the instructions say that you're supposed to do so. Now, with his articulation, if you're already familiar with the Jazz figure, it uses the same articulation. All of the accessories for the Transformers now for Legacy come in this very, very flimsy paper bags, like that they're taped to the back of the cardboard. So if you take the Transformers out of the box, don't forget to get the accessories. This is something that I know a lot of fans may need reminding about, because I don't want to see them lose any of the parts that come with the figures. For Knockout in particular, they chose not to give him the Jazz gun, which I'm actually very glad, because they gave him a blaster that could fit in this hand, and what is basically a spike. You can have him wield it like this, kind of like a, either a dagger or a laser blaster, or if you wanted to, you can combine the two. And I think this is something that maybe they might have thought about this weapon for Legacy Evolution, which is the next part of Legacy, is to have the two weapons combine to form a spear. And if you're familiar with Knockout in the Transformers Prime cartoon, that was basically his main weapon. And so how you want to have him display it is up to you. You could have him hold it like this, where he's running and ready to stab you this way, or if you want to have him like kind of stand tall like this to pose with his with his spear, is perfectly fine as well. And I think he looks really good. I like how this figure came out, and in particular, looking at the front end of this car, there's something about the other two versions of this mold that I kind of want to make some mentions of, that I kind of wish that they did with Knockout, and maybe we might see with another character, but we'll see. Of course, comparing both Jazz and Jackpot to Knockout, you can see the actual differences, not only from the front of the robot, but also from the chest and the head as well. But something that I took note of when I had gotten Jackpot and then I saw the images for Knockout, I said to myself, how come we're not getting Ricochet? And now I already know they already did so using the Power of the Primes mold for Jazz to give us Ricochet, but I would have really liked it if they did so with this particular new Jazz mold, because I do like it. But maybe we might actually see using the Jazz head on the Knockout change of body in order to give us a newer version of Ricochet. I think that might actually be worth it, especially considering the car is different. But I know some people do like the idea of Jazz being retooled into Ricochet instead of being Jackpot, but I do like the way it looks with Knockout. And it would be remiss of me to not show Knockout next to his other Transformers Legacy Prime Universe counterparts, which we have Bulkhead and RC, which, for those of you who have been watching the channel for a while, I'm just going to put it out there that this version of RC doesn't really work in my daughter's book. She's 6 years old, she looks at the blue one and goes, that's not RC, the pink one is. And I'll get into that when I talk about Studio Series 86 RC. But anyway, you can see that they've, done a good job of representing these characters and bringing them into this universe. Especially when Knockout was able to, with of course Breakdown's help, take down Optimus Prime. And you have to wonder how he would fare against two vain Autobots who are just as vain as he is. I'm sure this battle would be pretty juicy. Though I think Knockout does look good next to some other Decepticons, especially his team-ups with Starscream, and he has to make Megatron look the best that he could. Gotta buff out some any dents that Megatron or Soundwave may have. I also think it would be pretty epic if Knockout was teamed up with some other Decepticon cars, considering the Battle Chargers, my customized Barricade, and of course, this was, I believe it was Movie Universe, Fracture was supposed to be Crasher, which we are going to see a new version of Crasher in the future, but I wanted to see how well all 5 of these Decepticon cars look together, considering that they're not Stunticons. And since he shares a mold with Jazz, I'm going to speed up this transformation rather quickly. I do want to make mention before I close out these doors that when I opened it up out of the box, these 2 doors were actually in reverse, and I did have to take them off. And when I first transformed him, I was like, oh boy. Now in vehicle mode, Knockout looks like a Knockout. I have to say, I really dig the work that they've done to him in car mode. From the black there on the back, in addition to all the detailing on the back of him. Of course, I'm sure Toy Hacks is going to end up working on some labels to, give us some detailing there. The stripe work that you have here in car mode, and of course, it's already part of his chest, which you already saw in robot mode, is the grill is different. One of the really cool things about this particular car is that he is him being a retool of both Jazz and Jackpot. You can really see how much difference there is from the outer shell, whereas the transformation is the same on the inside. The vehicle on the outside is completely different, and to me that is quite an accomplishment in my opinion, because I like Jackpot and I really wish that it was Ricochet, to be quite honest with you. I do kind of wish that they maybe gave Jackpot this vehicle mode, because boy does this look a lot better for this character, though I've been told that the Toy Hacks labels really make this really look a lot better, but overall still looks like a great looking car. And even though he is kind of sleek, he does have all of the ports that he would have necessary to be able to store his weapon on his top if you wanted to have him firing on Autobots, which of course never actually did when he was in Transformers Prime, but it is an option if you wanted to for weapon storage. And just to compare Knockout with some of his Transformers Prime counterparts, you have Bulkhead and RC here. Of course, RC is an oversized motorcycle, and Bulkhead could have been a little bit bigger, but either way, I think that all three of them, whether or not you like the robot modes, their vehicle modes are fantastic. And one of my favorite moments in Transformers Prime was when Knockout rolled up to Prime and was "You're real heavy duty." And although Knockout is not a Stunticon, nor is his Transformers Prime Breakdown counterpart, maybe we could see the Battle Chargers ride alongside Knockout in car mode, in addition to my customized Barricade, and of course Fracture, whom we all know is supposed to be Crasher. So a team up of Decepticon cars that are not the Stunticons. Now overall, I really think Knockout is, quite frankly, a knockout. And I think he's definitely worth picking up if you are a fan of the character in any way, shape, or form. It's definitely a worthy addition to your Decepticon squad. So having more Decepticons is always a good thing, because usually the Autobots always outnumber the Decepticons, because the Decepticons are usually stronger. But I think this figure is a good retool of Jazz, and yeah, definitely pick it up. But I want to know what you guys think. Of course, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to thumbs up this video and subscribe. Check out my other videos as well. I have many more Transformers discussions, retrospectives, and more coming down the pipeline, so stay tuned for that. And as always, guys, until next time, till all are one.